Lesson 6.4 is about percent of change, and you'll be finding the percent of increase and decrease, as well as finding the percent error. There are a couple of vocabulary words for section 6.4: percent of change, percent of increase, percent of decrease, and percent error. And so here in the middle of page 270, you have the word definition and then the symbol definition. Make sure you get that down in your notes. And then we're going to jump right into example 1. I know I say this a lot, but just want to remind you that you have video tutors to help you out. You can read through the examples in your textbook, which walk you through step by step how to solve the problems. Of course, you have Google Hangout and email as well. So use your resources to make sure you understand these concepts. When you're finding the percent of change, you're finding the difference between the two amounts. And so step 1 is to subtract. And then step 2 is to divide by the original amount. And that's important to understand when you're reading, especially story problems. If you're just given the two numbers, it's pretty easy, 60 minus 84, and then divide by 60. But just pay attention, especially with word problems. And then when you're done dividing on step 2, step 3 is to convert that decimal to a percent. So moving it over 2 places or multiplying by 100. Example 1, got it at the bottom of page 270. Ty had 52 comic books. Now he has 61. So 61 minus 52 is 9. So your first step is to find the difference. He went from 52 to 61. So already I know that this is going to be an increase. I'm going to take 9 divided by his original amount, which is 52. And when I take 9 divided by 52, I get 0.173. And when I move that over 2 places to find the percent, I get 17.3%. And of course, it was an increase. For example 2, on page 271, we have another story problem. McKenna had 318 stamps, and then now she has 273 stamps. So right away, we know that her stamps went down. Okay, so we're going to subtract 273 minus 318, which is 45, and then divide that by what she started with, which was 318. And we get 0.141509. And to change that to a percent, we're going to move it over 2 places and get 14.2%, and that is a decrease. Let's take a look at example 2, got it? Find the percent of change from 24 points to 18 points. So right away we went down, so we know that that's going to be a decrease. It really doesn't matter if you take 24 minus 18 or 18 minus 24, as long as you know that from 24 to 18 is a decrease. That's what you need to pay attention to. So 24 minus 18 is 6, and then you're going to divide that by the original amount, which is 24. Okay, hopefully you realize here I could easily reduce that to 1/4, and 1/4 is 0.25, and 0.25 is 25%, which is what we have right here in pink. The next definition you have here is percent error, and again, it's something similar when you are going to find the difference between an estimate and the prediction or the measurement and the actual value, and then divide by the actual and then multiply it by that 100 to find the percent. So example 3, Alyssa estimates her school auditorium has 660 seats, but it actually has 750. So you're going to subtract those two amounts, which is negative 90, or the absolute value of negative 90 is 90. And then you're going to divide that by the actual amount. Now, this one might confuse you because you think you might want to go divide that by 660. But the percent of error is actually taking that difference divided by the actual value. In this case, it actually has 750 seats, so we're going to divide it by 750. So let's take a look at the bottom of page 271, the estimated weight was 8 pounds and the actual weight was 6.4 pounds. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take 8 minus 6.4, okay, and we get 1.6. Okay, so that's the difference. I don't think you're going to have a problem with that part, but you want to divide by the actual weight, in this case 6.4. And 1.6 divided by 6.4 is actually 1/4. If you reduce that, again, 25%. So on 3B, 2.5 centimeters and 2.54 centimeters, we're going to get a difference between those two of 0.04 divided by the actual length, which is 2.54. And when I take that on my calculator, 0.04 divided by 2.54, I get 0.0157. You can see that on my calculator, 0.0157. And if I need to round to the nearest tenth, I'm going to move it over 2 because I'm multiplying it by 100 to find the percent. And then that 7 will round the 5 up to a 6. So the final answer would be 1.6%. That is all for section 6.4 on percent of change. Again, the main idea here is to find the difference and then divide by the original amount or divide by the actual amount for percent of error. Pretty easy concept. Let me know if you have any questions. Good luck.